So this is what your final result is going to look like. You have a little section for geolocation, and you will be, let me reload this. You're going to click Where Am I? It wants to know your location. You're going to click Allow, and it retrieves the latitude and longitude. You're also going to be creating a chart, and I will explain how to customize it because you can pretty much chart whatever you want. So to get started, you need to download the API, myapi.html, to your lesson 12 folder. You also need to download this loader.js file to your lesson 12 folder. That file is required for Google Maps to work. And then you need to download the world.ping file into your lesson 12 media folder. First thing that you're going to do is add this script below your opening and closing title. And I will show you where that is. So you're going to add it right here. And that's got that loader file. And then, and both geolocation and maps need that file, but maps will not work without it. Once you get that added, then you're going to add some code below geolocation. And so basically you're going to add a little line that says click the button to get the coordinates. You're going to add the button, and that is going to call the get location function when they click it. And the get location function, I can show you in here because I've already added it. The get location function basically checks to make sure that your browser supports geolocation. If it does, it is going to retrieve your current position. And what it does is it calls get current position, and it's got show position in here, which is another function. So basically it is getting the current position by calling another function. And this function actually displays the latitude and longitude. Now it's displaying it at loc.innerHTML. Now up here at the top, we have the loc variable, and that is set equal to document.getElementById result. That is this little paragraph here. If you do not have form elements to display text in, and you want to use your HTML elements, then you need to use inner HTML. So we're just basically putting document.getElementById result into loc, and we're using loc to call inner HTML. Now, could we just put document.getElementById result in there instead? Yes, that should work. So let's try it. Okay, so what you're seeing is just a little shortcut. Okay, if you don't want to key all that in all the time, you can put, the beginning part into a variable and just use the variable instead, and it saves you a little bit of typing. Okay, so that's all it does. Inner HTML is the important part because that actually is going to put the text inside here, in between the opening and closing elements or tags. And that text displays the current longitude and latitude. That's what it's doing. Okay, so there isn't really a whole lot to the geolocation. It mainly involves checking to see if the browser supports it. If it does, basically retrieving the latitude and longitude and displaying it up here. If the browser doesn't support it, then in that same location, we're just saying that it's not supported. Now moving on to the chart. For the chart, at the top you need the loader, and you also need google.charts.load current packages core chart. That also has to be between an opening and closing script, and that basically loads up all the charts. So you may need to make sure that you have that at the top as well. And then underneath our Google chart heading is where you're going to add the HTML and the script. So the HTML is basically just a division tag, and we've got an ID set to pie container. This is where the pie chart is going to go. Okay, and then inside the script, it's basically setting up all the different parameters that we need to create this chart. So it's got a data object it's creating here by calling Google Visualization. And then it's defining 2 columns. And that corresponds to the data that we see down here. We've got 1 column here. We have a second column. Our first column is text, so it's a string, and that is food consumption. Now you guys are going to be creating your own 3D chart. So, you know, you might want to do an exercise log. Or you might want to look for completely different stats. I did include a link to a pretty good site, actually, if you're interested in internet stats. Okay, this has got all sorts of stats. Okay, and these, you know, the percentage of people that use PHP, ASP, Java for server side, and we've got client side languages. Okay, and those are all in percentages, and these would be great in a chart. Okay, so you can use these. If you want to look up other data, basically anything you're interested in, I could look up sugar consumption statistics. And I could actually go into images here and probably find some data that I can chart. Of course, this is a pie chart, so I just don't want too much. This is from sugar drinks. So, you know, there's tons and tons of data, but you do need to find something to chart, or you can chart something personal, like, you know, your exercise habits. So I'm doing an exercise log on this one. The second column is going to be my percentage. So I like to run. And let's see, what else do I do? Elliptical. I walk. And I do weights. So to estimate my amount of time spent on each one, I probably spend 40% on that. No, I'll change that, 35. That's probably 35, 20, and I should do a lot more weights than I do, but that's probably fairly accurate. Okay, so I would say this would be a weekly exercise log. Okay, and at that point, I've got all my data in here because this is going to be the title. This is going to make up the chart. So each one of these is going to be a little wedge in the pie. And really the only thing you're probably going to have to change is this, because you're probably going to chart different things than me. because the second column definitely should be a number that's a percent. So you'll probably change this, and then the text in the first column, and of course the title. Okay, but these are all just parameters for building the chart. And then you come down here, and this is where it actually is going to create the chart. So we have a chart object that we're creating. It's calling the pie chart method, and it's actually connecting that to our pie container up here. Then it's calling a method to draw the chart. And at this point, the chart is drawn, and down here is where it loads it up and puts it on your screen. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And we are going to load this up. Okay, so you can see here's now, it says weekly exercise log. And kind of the cool thing is that it does give you little tips when you point. And you can literally chart anything in here. And where am I? Gives you the current latitude and longitude of wherever your computer is. Okay, so this is what you need to do for the API sampler. And again, the chart can be whatever data you want to chart. It can be personal, or you can find data online.